So first off, congratulations for beating Clock Tower Nemesis. It's a victory that's very well earned after a lot of perseverance and patience. In this section of the game, we're going to take control of Carlos. He is good to control. He comes with an assault rifle, which is one of the few weapons that does not have any kind of ammo for it. It's a percentage-based weapon, so you start off with 100% ammo, which gradually decreases over time. There's a bunch of zombies in this room. I find it easy to just trigger them by going out into the main dining room area and then just going back and just lining them up here for some shots. Always avoid if you can. Now with Carlos, you want to go back to where the time goddess puzzle was. In that room, you may have tried to push this bell that's on the floor that was too heavy for Jill to push, and with Carlos, you're able to clear it out of the way. It's sometimes possible for spiders to be there again. The Drandamos are a bit difficult in that situation because they can strike by falling down from the ceiling, and the ceiling's very low. Usually for the Drandamos, in areas where you fight them, there's either no ceiling or there's a wide enough berth that's pretty easy to run around them, but having 3 in that small corridor is just hard to deal with. I tend to mow these guys down. I find that dodging around the cars with 4 of them can be a bit hard to deal with. Alright, so as you can see right there, hunters are very fast, and there's going to be 2 that pop out here. It's best to mow both of these guys down because they just come directly at you. You may have noticed that even though I knocked down the first one, he got up and retaliated very fast. There's 2 red herbs here. You can take them. You end up getting 2 green herbs upstairs, which I think is a guaranteed drop. It just depends on which room that you go into. There's going to be a first aid spray here on the shelf straight ahead of you. Grab that. It's not necessary to pick up the ink ribbons here. I had a devil of a time for this final part and ended up saving more than I should have just because I was unsure about how things were going. I just ended up just taking a whole host of damage in spots where I thought I was doing okay, and just to be safe, I ended up saving. You should be able to complete the hospital first pass without saving.
There also appears to be a slight fracture in his right arm just below the elbow. However,
a word about how saving works. You get a grade at the end of the run for how fast you complete it, how many times you save, and how much damage you recover. This is a random encounter. The zombies are either going to be on the upper floor or they're going to be on the bottom floor when you go down. I'm just getting absolutely swarmed here. It's just not great. But you want to run to this back door first. You need a key to unlock the second operation room.
Don't shoot! No! Nikolai? You're still alive?
You saw what happened?
What's going on?
I'm one of the supervisors. That's all you need to know.
Wait!
Gonna be 30 handgun bullets here. You want to pick them up and run to the back and get the key. So as you can see, there's no real easy way to get to both doors if the zombies spawn on this floor. It's preferable that they spawn downstairs, as there's dynamite on the wall, that you're able to just clear them out. But you need to go into this first room, and there's going to be these worms. These worms are always here, and it's best to either avoid them or trying to shoot them on the floor. You can easily avoid them by checking the body to your right, and if the kind of shelf right there in the top right is on either of those bottom screens. Now, what you need to do is there's going to be a puzzle in the second sick room, and in order to solve it, you need to flip this room on its x-axis. So what that means, on its y-axis. Now what that means is there's going to be that shelf on the right. There's going to be a shelf in the middle of the room for the sick room. And what you want to do is have it be on the bottom left. And the combination is the passcode from the guy on the floor in the other room. So that dynamite would be hard to use if the zombies decide to spawn on this floor, but it is useful for the second time you come back because there's going to be some hunters. 2 hunters are going to be in this room. I end up trying to go for the explosive on the wall, but because of auto aim, I just end up missing and hitting him instead. It's important to note to watch your assault rifle ammo here. If you do want to complete a Nemesis fight with Carlos when he returns to the clock tower, you want your assault rifle to be still at around 50 to 60%. First, you want to activate the power. This puzzle is very similar to the power plant in terms of wanting to flip switches to end up things being level. The combination, or the solution, is always the same, A, 1, 3. So those Gamma/Reptilian Aqua Hunters, they pop out. I tried to get to the door in order to, if you're very swift, you're able to kind of bypass them and not get hit, but I just got shafted there. There's going to be 2 hunters in this hallway. I end up getting 2 lucky dodges here and try to escape through the elevator, but unfortunately it can't close until those guys are defeated. Now, they both are kind of blocking each other's progress here from getting in the elevator because they're both charging at it, but hunters can jump through the elevator, as you're about to see right here. So I just got absolutely walloped in this room. I expected zombies to be here. Zombies are a potential spawn for this room, but that hunter just kind of came out of nowhere and surprised me. So always be on your toes. Run straight to the exit. Those zombies are only there for this one room, and the time you come back through here with Jill, they're not going to be there, so don't waste your ammo on them. It's a lucky blind dodge right there. Decided to take no chances in this hallway because I did not know how the Nemesis encounter was going to be, and being in caution, he could have just tentacled me and maybe stun-locked me in this next room. Again, to reiterate, if you do want to fight Nemesis as Carlos, you want to have your assault rifle to be at least above 50%, ideally 60 by this time.
Hey, are you okay?
Yes. Barely. What's going on?
No way! That monster just doesn't give up!
What? I thought we killed that thing!
No, it's been waiting for you!
He's playing with us. Carlos, do you think that it's unstoppable?
No, I don't think so. I'm sorry, Jill, but I've got to go take care of a few things. Oh, and bad news. Nikolai is still alive.
Nikolai? Are you sure?
Yes. I don't know how, but I do know that he is our enemy. Remember, don't trust him.
So unfortunately, unless you deposit your items as Carlos in the item box, you don't get them as Jill. So I just realized that I neglected to get that full herb. You need the lockpick for this next section. It opens the door to allow you to get the part key. Worth noting at this point is this is the final time you can fight Nemesis in the Nemesis completion run. This is where he drops his final item. So there will be some new zombies spawned here, but you want to go straight ahead to the door on the right. Grab the part key. There will be ammo in the locker closest to you. This has a potential to be grenade rounds, I think, but I ended up getting mine thrower rounds, which I didn't need. The lockpick isn't needed at this point, but the lighter is. There is a spot, a save room, right before where you do need the lighter in order to grab it, but I ended up just doing it here. So you want to go down this path. This spawn is variable. There's potential for worms to be in that fountain, but I ended up getting a hunter. I believe if a hunter spawns here, then you will not get reptilian hunters on this bridge, and you'll get zombies instead. This path I fully expected there to be dogs that spawn because that's what I've seen in a lot of playthroughs and what's happened to me previously. But unfortunately, I end up getting surprised by all these hunters. So again, make sure that you're prepared and ready to fight if need be. It's extremely narrow that a dodge is just really precise. I got such a close call there, and that barrel could have just completely destroyed this run. You do want to pick up those Magnum rounds if you are using the Magnum in any capacity, which I end up doing in the later part of the run. You just don't get much ammo for it, and it's pretty powerful. I don't believe it's as powerful as freeze grenades. I think freeze grenades destroy Nemesis in a faster cycle than the Magnum, but the Magnum is just really easy to use. At this point, you want to take the overlook to the other side, and you're eventually going to solve this water puzzle. The reason I brought those red herbs was to create some full heals here. I do believe that these are always here. So there's combinations for where the gears can go. If you see on the left-hand side, that's the amount of times you can move the gears. If you get it wrong, you eventually see the combination in this small little cutscene. But you want to have the black gears on the top, middle, and the top right, just like in that diagram there, and the white ones at the bottom left and the bottom right. Worms have a fairly odd movement cycle, and it's fairly easy to get around them just by kind of doing quick angles. Now, it's possible that there are herbs over there to the left, but that's where 2 zombies also are, and I decided to just run past them. I want to grab the iron pipe and then use the lighter on the fireplace. Then use the pipe to break down the back wall. Pick up those grenade rounds, you're going to need them. That part key opens the door to where the soldier is that you got the magnum ammo.
All supervisors, mission terminated. Return immediately. Repeat. All supervisors return immediately. Over.
I'm quite impressed you've managed to stay alive up until now.
And you seem to be doing a pretty good job of looking out for yourself. How about helping out?
I have no intention of helping you.
Because we're nothing but pawns in all this?
In a manner of speaking, you are. Our employers wanted a detailed analysis of the zombie beings which were created through infection by the T-virus.
You're saying that they deliberately sent in a military unit to be butchered by their creations?
Not exactly. Although the conditions encountered on this operation were extreme, it was an unexpected outcome that the team would be wiped out. We were only required to collect live data from the subjects.
Ah!
Another mutant!
At this part of the game, you're going to fight the Gravedigger for the second time. What I end up doing is going back and just doing some inventory management just to get those powders. Now, it's possible to defeat the Gravedigger worm without using any ammo. There's going to be a spot where after I think a couple minutes, there's a booby trap that you can set for it, which automatically kills it. However, surviving for those 2 minutes can be a bit difficult. Actually very difficult if you just have the wrong dodge mechanics, because the worm is really big and you fight him in a very confined space. So, as you can see there, in my mind I kind of knew that I wanted to create type C powder, but through force of habit I ended up combining the AA and the BB, which you can't combine to create a double C. Double C can only be created from a C plus a C. So initially I thought right now that I almost screwed the pooch on this run, potentially not being able to get enough powerful ammo to complete the game. But I decided to soldier on and just kind of make it up as it goes, and I end up doing relatively okay in the end. Lesson learned, create type C powder there. It's useful for combining with the grenades to get freeze rounds, or creating triple C gunpowder to create magnum rounds.
What's going on? Whoa! What is that?
So you start absolutely sandwiched. He comes charging at you, and it's possible to defeat him very fast if you have the upgraded shotgun from the Nemesis drops. But I was kind of hoping to get him to start digging before he struck me. I end up getting absolutely walloped in this fight. The best is to almost kind of stick to this area where you do have some horizontal room to dodge him, but he can pop out of the ground and do some quick attacks. Going to either end, as I learned throughout this fight, just spells recipe for disaster. He spawns and then starts crawling towards you and can end up just sandwiching you against the wall. Got a nice dodge there. At this point, I wasn't sure if I should try and go for the kill based off ammunition, or wait until the booby trap can be set. Don't remain in one place for too long. I think I was looking at my health items and determining how comfortable I was potentially just waiting it out versus firing back. As you can see, he can lunge quite fast, and the best way to dodge him is again using the quick dodge mechanic. So when this happens, you want to push over both lights into the pool, which will create a booby trap. I end up hitting the side of the pool there and taking some damage, which of course is just not that great. But at this point, you're almost set. He's going to surface, and then as he crawls back over you, he's going to fall into the pool and it's going to trigger a cutscene. At this point, I was kicking myself for all the shotgun ammo I just wasted. Dodge around the worms. Now luckily, if you save some of the green herbs there, you can use them to heal for your fight. Otherwise, you kind of get no reprieve as you go back into the main area. A bunch of zombies are going to spawn here. I believe they do that after you defeat the Gravedigger. You can kind of see Jill pointing her head in her direction. It's important to use the character animation cues to just kind of figure out where your enemies are.
Stars. Stars.
So that choice is one of the more interesting ones in the game, due to the fact that depending on which one you choose, it determines which ending you're going to get. If you choose to jump off the bridge, then Barry Burton will rescue you in the helicopter. If not, then Carlos and Jill escape in a chopper. I usually find this is a good time to save for this final section. You want to take the water sample. Now we're about to come up on one of the most infamous puzzles in the entire game, and maybe the franchise. I think it just depends on who you ask, but this water sample puzzle is just extremely devious. There's no real good solution for it. There's 4 different types of permutations that this puzzle can take, and I've linked all the solutions in the description to help you guys out. These gunpowders are never a guarantee here, but I end up actually waking up a bit here with my brain and able to create C-type powder. I ended up creating 3 solo C-type powders, just because I wasn't entirely sure whether I wanted to create magnum ammo or not. As you can see, you need to line up the blocks so that they reach the correct heights. There's just so many variables to keep track of on the 3 different rows that usually looking up the solution can be better. I ended up actually spending about 10 minutes on this before I reset my save. I ended up just looking up the solution just to be quick on time. To use the key in the description, you want to check the first 2. Medium refers to the second level, 1 refers to low, and 3 refers to high. Want to grab that first aid spray, and what I end up doing is depositing the C powders because I don't need them until the next Nemesis fight.
Rescuing you is becoming a full-time job.
Thanks, Carlos. I owe you.
Listen closely, Jill. They're going to launch a missile directly into the city as soon as day breaks.
At dawn? But that's only...
I know. We don't have much time left. We have to split up and find a way out of here. And hey, watch out for that traitor Nikolai.
Alright, so this room can have a whole bunch of different spawns. There's going to be shotgun ammo here, and you want to take both of them. Now, I completely forgot this, but at different points when you get certain items, this room will repopulate, and they end up just getting absolutely slammed by the new enemies that come through here, especially because, at least from my count, they actually tend to add to one another. I end up leaving about a couple of those guys free, and when I come back after I get the new key to open the optional area to get the rocket launcher, I end up just encountering a whole host of them. So it's important to note that right where that guy was after you get off the elevator is actually that door that you opened with the water puzzle. I think it's very easy to miss because that angle can be deceiving, that it looks like there's nothing there unless you check your map. That tripped me up for a couple minutes as I was just running around the facility just figuring out where to go. But that's where you want to go after you get the mission or the system disk to open the shutter door.
Nikolai?
That door leads to the bridge where you initially jumped off, facing Nemesis. Of course, if you pushed him off, this is where you'd end up. So we still need to get the disc in order to open the Nemesis boss fight, so you're going to be coming back here once more, which I recommend to save. Now this puzzle, you have to switch the steam vents in order to get past them. There's going to be 2 levels of them. I don't know the proper solution for this, but if I'll look it up after I do this commentary and post the solution in the description. But you do need to go around to the other side to start the steam, and then go back around and deactivate them. You can grab those herbs if they're there for your playthrough. So I was really lucky there. I was checking to see if I was going to get poisoned. But always just be on your toes. End up clearing these 2 enemies to get the green herbs. So this part is optional. What you need to do is go back to where you solved the water puzzle and insert the key to, I guess, get it validated to open up the locker that will get you the rocket launcher. You can only get the rocket launcher after you get the key from the second Nemesis fight that we're about to do. Rookie reloading there. Always keep track of your shots. And now we're going to go through the door. So I thought I cleared all these guys out, but I guess after you get the key, you just get you spawn these guys. I get wrecked here. Just so much damage and just so many problems with this room. Luckily, this is the last time you have to come through here. So upon reflection, I sequenced this wrong. What I should have done is prepared for the Nemesis fight on the safe room downstairs, and then just went straight into the room to fight Nemesis. The best thing to fight Nemesis with here is probably the grenade launcher again, either flame, acid, or freeze round. If you're really low on ammo, you can defeat him with just a knife or a handgun. There's going to be these acid valves that you need to trigger around the arena that can cause a whole bunch of damage to him, and if you get enough, then you just defeat him. I end up skipping a lot of menuing here. What I end up choosing to do is create a triple C gunpowder and then use it to get the magnum ammo. And we have so much magnum ammo here. We're in really good shape. I think I end up just loading up on everything. I use the AA to create more flame rounds, and then just combine that with my existing grenade launcher. So I just noticed an inconsistency with my editing there. In order to get the system disk, I think I might have demonstrated, it's right there on the console that you just passed the first time you come through here. Letting that guy walk a bit allows you to just dodge him easily. And now we're about to fight Nemesis for the second time. Since I had good luck with the flame rounds before, I decided to use them again.
Warning. Proceeding with operation in treatment room. Please evacuate immediately. Stars. Stars.
It's good to have auto aim off for this fight in order to be able to hit the valves. Now, in my opinion, this fight is significantly easier than the clock tower. His mutated form has just slower attacks, and it's just easier to get around it. You also have a much more open space to be able to just dodge him. You just have to watch out for that ankle tentacle, since it has quite a bit of range. So I thought I completely bit the dust here and that he was going to instant kill me here. But luckily I did have a healing item that I grabbed. Always be prepared, you never know if you're going to get caught in just an unfortunate cycle of his attacks. I got a little tripped up here, thought I might have spawned on the other side of the arena, but what you needed to use is use the card key in order to open the lock.
Warning. Missile attack confirmed. All personnel evacuate immediately.
So now that you have the card key, you can go directly to the endgame at this stage. I have enough Magnum ammo that I'm confident I can complete it. But we do need to face Nikolai one last time, and I find the best way to do that is through the rocket launcher. I reset the room here. In my mind I was debating whether I should just charge through or use my Magnum ammo. I end up just tanking this because I have 2 first aid sprays at my disposal. You need to go back to the steam room and then use the card key to take the elevator down. There's going to be 2 grenade launcher packs of ammo down there, and then you're going to use your upgraded facility key to open the locker to get the rocket launcher. At this point, I decided to use those double B powders that I accidentally created from earlier in order to combine them with the grenade launcher rounds to create acid rounds. You don't actually need the reload tool to create any of the grenade launcher combinations, you just need to combine the gunpowders together. You can save here if you want. If you had a particularly tough time with the garbage disposal Nemesis fight, then I recommend doing it, but the boss fights are so close together, and by the time you complete that fight, you're so close to the end game that I recommend you can just keep going forward. And we're not going for an A or an S ranking here. Again, this is a very spontaneous playthrough that I just wanted to do for you guys before Resident Evil 3 Remake comes out on Friday. To reiterate, you get graded based on the amount of damage you heal, the number of saves you do, and how quickly you complete the game. This run-through is particularly bad in terms of damage taken. I end up just taking a ton of damage, and that really hampers, I think, my score at the end, but... Right. So what you want to do is check the escape ladder behind you, and this will trigger Nikolai.
You're still alive. Such persistence.
Nikolai?
Sorry, but there is no escape from here.
So it's time to give the devil his due.
Jill, what happened?
Carlos. The choppers.
I guess this is it then. But I don't want to die in a place like this. This isn't over yet. I'm not giving up, Jill. We still have a chance. Jill, that's it. We've got to find a way out of here, now!
Warning. Missile attack confirmed. Warning. Missile attack confirmed. Emergency level D. All personnel evacuate immediately.
So if you try to negotiate with Nikolai, you end up having to do that fight anyway, so it's best to just return fire to the chopper. End up getting a very good dodge pattern there. I can't believe I was able to squeak by him.
Checking system.
You want to turn on the railgun and then go back over to number 1 near the entrance and push it in.
There is not enough power to activate the system.
Ended up forgetting my sequence here a bit.
Battery connected.
So that mutated tyrant on the ground is actually, I believe, the final Mr. X fight from Resident Evil 2, which of course takes place before this final day. Now this is the final Nemesis fight, and in order to beat him, you need to charge up the railgun cannon and then have it fire at him, either a couple times or just once if you put enough damage into him.
Battery connected. Rail cannon has been activated. Executing quick charge program. Prepare yourself. Fire.
So there is a countdown timer in the top right before the missile hits the city, but it's extremely generous compared to most self-destruct sequences in Resident Evil games. Again, I need to give props to the Seamless HD Project people because there's so much detail that you can now see in Nemesis's final form. Just a lot of just different body parts and disfigurations. It really looks great. So that can either hit him if he's on top of that place, like you saw him before, but now you can lure him down the middle. I end up just trying to just beat him the old-fashioned way with just a whole bunch of ammo. Trying to lure him to go to the other side, but I just end up in just a bad sequence here. So at this stage, when he starts crawling back to Mr. X, I believe, I guess from a story perspective, he's trying to heal himself. But this causes the end game, where he goes straight into the cannon. He was a bit too slow there, and I just have to wait for the next fire in order for this fight to be over.
Warning. System overheating. Enter cooldown mode.
So you're going to be presented with one final choice, but this isn't really a choice. You're going to pick the first option. You have to.
Stars? I'll give you stars.
So good.
Jill!
It's over, Carlos.
What are you talking about? Don't you hear that? There's a second chopper, and it's here to rescue you.
But who is it? Who could possibly be looking for me?
It doesn't matter. We just have to be there when it lands.
Thanks, you saved us.
I couldn't let you die.
Is it you?
Are you ready to finish this?
It's coming!
Yeah. It's the end.
That's it. Umbrella's going down.
And congratulations, you've just beaten Resident Evil 3.
And now we have a rather unfortunate turn of events. It seems that the President and the Federal Council have passed judgment over the civilians of Raccoon City. The President and Federal Council have ruled that the Bacillus Terminate operation is the best course of action for this extreme situation, and have since executed. Based on that fact, Raccoon City has been literally wiped off the map. Current reports have the death toll surpassing the 100,000 mark. Our hearts go out to those poor civilians of Raccoon City.
All right, sub 3 hours. That's actually not too bad of a time. I was hoping to get sub 3 hours, but D for dreadful. The number of saves were pretty bad, and the amount of damage I took was appalling. But thank you for joining me for this impromptu walkthrough of Resident Evil 3.